The alien never heard the shot. 1 second he was chuckling, waving his plasma rifle in the damp jungle heat, boasting to his squad that humans couldn't punch through a Drox shield if they tried. The next, his head snapped back in a wet burst. His helmet, military-grade, triple-insulated, fractured like glass. Blood misted over the inside of his now useless shield. His body dropped without ceremony into the undergrowth. A kilometer away, Sergeant Logan Ghost Hale exhaled slowly, fingers still resting on the trigger. He adjusted his scope by a hair and watched the confusion unravel. The remaining 5 Federation troops spun around, shouting in their language, sharp consonants, panicked and clip. One fired blindly into the trees. Another crouched, activating a full shield barrier that shimmered like a blue dome. 2 others ducked for cover behind thick ferns, their body armor humming with shield resonance. They weren't just afraid. They were unprepared. Logan blinked, checked the wind, and melted back into the foliage. He didn't celebrate. He relocated. His sniper rifle, an earth-forged long-strike M29, wasn't elegant. It didn't glow. It didn't hum with alien energy. But it fired 12.7mm anti-material rounds that punched through ceramic plating, high-pressure air, and, apparently, Drox energy shields, if you hit them just right. He knew the Federation wouldn't believe it. Not yet. But they would. As Logan low-crawled through a patch of vine-thick brush, his earpiece crackled. "Ghost, this is Echo 2. Confirm Tango down." He tapped the throat mic. "Tango down. Clean hit. Shield breached." A pause. "Copy that. Command says more patrols inbound." "They're not taking it well." Logan smirked. "They weren't supposed to." He reached a rise in the terrain, ducked beneath a hanging root, and climbed 20 feet up into the dense branches of a verdant tree. The bark was rough, dark, and perfect for camo. He set up again. Nest built. Scope deployed. Rifle steady. He scanned. Below, the dead alien squad had retreated to a new position. They were dragging the body with them, glancing in all directions. Fear had replaced bravado. Good. It wasn't the first time Logan had faced a superior force that thought numbers and tech guaranteed victory. He'd spent his early years in Earth's Special Forces, dealing with insurgents in mountain caves and dense rainforest. He'd learned early that a smart man with a rifle was more dangerous than a platoon with toys. Especially when that man couldn't be seen. "Echo 2, Logan whispered. "They're pulling east. You got eyes?" "Negative. Heavy foliage. They're blind. Just like you planned." Logan peered down his scope, watching as the squad regrouped. One of them, larger, 4 arms, commander by the markings, slammed his fist into a tree trunk and snarled. The audio sensors picked up the alien's voice. "One shot? One primitive shot? This is a joke. Scan for anomalies." Logan's eyes narrowed. The Federation was in denial. They believed in their gear. Their training manuals said snipers were a relic of the past, effective only against unshielded primitive. They'd never fought Earth's ghost. He adjusted the elevation on his scope and spotted a shimmer across a nearby ridge, an anti-sensor drone hovering low, scanning for movement and body heat. Too late. The jungle belonged to him now. He moved again, slower this time, crawling across a narrow branch to another tree. He didn't rush. Patience was his weapon. Impulse killed snipers. Motion gave away position. He was methodical, deliberate, and human. A flicker of memory. Earth briefing room. A map of Rexer 4. Commander Adler, grizzled and unimpressed, speaking with that graveled calm. Federation thinks shields are invincible. They're not. Weak spots in frequency phase between impact. You hit that micro gap with something solid, fast enough, doesn't matter what material it is. They had laughed in orbit. Galactic troopers mocking the old Earth soldiers with their gunpowder toys. Laughs turned to silence after the first kill. Then mockery. Then confusion. Now, fear. Logan liked fear. It slowed the enemy. Made them clumsy. Emotional. He kept moving. By the time Federation reinforcements arrived, 8 strong, heavy armor, scanning the jungle with high-frequency pulse radars, Logan was 2 clicks away, watching from above. They fanned out in search formation. Smart move. But they were looking for the wrong threat. They expected plasma. Explosions. Hordes. They didn't expect one man, silent and precise, hiding in the shadows of alien branches. He didn't fire again that day. 1 kill was enough. Let them sweat. Instead, he watched, listened, and marked their positions. Every careless step. Every line of sight. Every shield fluctuation. He'd find the cracks. Later that night, Logan buried his thermal signature under mud and leaves, rifle disassembled and stowed beside him. He lay still, heart beating slow, listening to the distant hum of alien drones and the frantic chatter of troops trying to rationalize what had happened. He smiled once, barely. Not bad for a human with a bullet. Commander Tyrex Valon stood over the shattered helmet of his fallen soldier, mandibles twitching with irritation. He prodded the remains with his boot, shield field still active around him in a soft glow. No plasma burns, no energy distortion. Just a hole, clean, brutal, right through reinforced alloy. He turned to his adjutant. Run it again. The adjutant fumbled with the hollow projector. 3 angles, sir. All consistent. Projectile velocity suggests primitive kinetic weapon. Tyrex's eyes narrowed. Primitive doesn't breach Drock's shields. It did, sir. Tyrex exhaled sharply, a sound like grinding metal. Then find the anomaly. Behind him, his squad fanned out through the jungle clearing, rifles raised. Drones buzzed overhead, casting soft lights over the canopy. Motion scanners pulsed in sweeping arcs. But there was no movement, no sound. Only the hiss of leaves brushing leaves in a world too quiet. Where is he? Far above, nestled between the forked branches of a stoneleaf tree, Logan watched them through a leaf-wrapped lens. Their formation was tight. Patterns showed discipline, but not fear. Not yet. That would change. He hadn't taken another shot since the first. There was no need. The wound he left in their pride was deep and festering. He pulled his radio from a pouch. Echo 2. Eyes on command unit. 8 heavy suit. 2 drones. They've locked down Sector Green. His spotter replied instantly. Copy. They're shifting patrols near Ridge 9. Think they're baiting you. Let 'em try. Logan lowered the scope. He wasn't after numbers. He was after momentum. A second body too fast might erase the fear. Let them stew in uncertainty instead. Let doubt corrode their resolve. He descended slowly, boots quiet on bark, each step practiced. 30 feet to the ground. No more than 30 seconds. He moved northeast. Commander Tyrex paced inside his mobile command tent, set in a small clearing surrounded by energy pylons. His engineers had rigged the field to block ballistic trajectories, at least in theory. Every record says humans abandoned projectile warfare centuries ago, he muttered. They're Earth-born, sir, the adjutant replied. They never let go of old tools. They're obsessed with tradition. Tradition doesn't penetrate Tier 4 shielding. He paused. Unless it's deliberate, the adjutant said quietly. They're studying us. Tyrex spun. You're suggesting a sniper is assessing my army? Sir, 5 patrols have returned early. All report shadows, movement, gear malfunctions. One swears he heard breathing. He fired into nothing. Tyrex's jaw clenched. A soft ping echoed in the tent. One of the outer drones had gone offline. Sabotage? Tyrex asked. No. It just shut down. Instant voltage drop. The commander stared at the display. He's not hiding. He turned toward the jungle beyond the barrier. He's playing. Logan reached the drone before they did. It still twitched, lights flickering. He rolled it gently with his knife, sliced a thin cord, and removed the internal capacitor. He tucked the piece into his belt pouch. Gift for command, he murmured. He wasn't just shooting. He was undermining the illusion of control. Taking their eyes. Taking their calm. A squad moved past him 20 meters to the west. Heavy-footed. Fast. They were starting to get spooked, pressing deeper into terrain they couldn't map. Logan climbed again. A better nest this time. Overhang of blackroot vines draped over a boulder. Clear view of the eastern ridge. The sound of boots on brittle fern reached his ears. He aimed, but didn't fire. Not yet. Let them feel it. Sir, came a sharp voice over Tyrex's calm, we found a mark. A what? Tree near Ridge 8. Bullet lodged in bark. Same caliber. Has he been missing on purpose? That's not all. Carved into the bark below. The voice trailed off. Tyrex's mandibles clicked. Well, it's a skull. Human style. Scratched beneath it. Next shots louder. Tyrex slammed his fist onto the hollow table. He's taunting us. His mind raced. A single human had turned 5 sectors into panic zones. Officers were second-guessing their scans. Gunships were idling, afraid to lift off without being seen. He had to break the spell. Night fell fast on Rexer 4. Jungle sounds shifted, chirps turned to low hums, leaves rustled with unseen life. Logan stayed still. He hadn't eaten in 12 hours. Didn't matter. Focus was the only fuel he needed. Through his scope, he watched 2 Federation soldiers patrol a narrow path. Their shields flickered every few seconds, cycling down between pulses. Most wouldn't notice the gap. He did. He timed it. 4 seconds on. 1 second off. Logan followed the lead soldier with his scope. Waited. Watched the pulse. 4, 3, 2. The man's head passed through a shaft of moonlight. 1. The bullet hit him before the shield came back online. It didn't need to be fast. Just perfectly timed. The second soldier screamed, dropped to the ground, and fired wildly in every direction. Plasma bolts lit the jungle. Leaves burst into flame. A bird exploded mid-flight. Logan was already moving. Back in the command tent, alarms blared. Sector 7, confirmed Kia. Shot fired during pulse cycle. Tyrex's skin flushed dark. How the hell does he know our shield sync rates? Maybe he's listening, sir. No. Tyrex thought. He's watching. Studying. He stared at the tactical map. 10,000 square meters of jungle. And one ghost unraveling it from inside. This isn't war, he said. This is a demonstration. Logan circled back to his extraction point. But there'd be no pickup. Not yet. He paused under the ridge and tapped the capacitor he'd stolen. Echo 2, he whispered. Drone heart delivered. Another one down. Second kill confirmed. They're unraveling. What's the plan now? Logan glanced back at the jungle. Next time I shoot, it won't be a grunt. The Federation had stopped laughing. Inside the steel-gray walls of the mobile command center, the tension was thick enough to taste. Monitors buzzed. Tactical maps glowed with red dots, ghosts of patrols gone silent, markers of systems that had failed without warning. The air was dry, sanitized, too clean for a jungle warzone. Commander Tyrex Valon stood motionless, eyes locked on the central screen. Give me something, he growled. A junior analyst stepped forward. Her voice trembled. Thermal scans show nothing. Electromagnetic sweeps are clean. He's not using active tech. No comms, no drones. No trace. Tyrex turned toward her, his 4 eyes narrowing. And yet he kills at will. No one replied. He slammed a fist into the table. This ends now. Full lockdown on Sector 10. Trip mines. Sentry turrets. I want sensor web coverage. If a leaf moves, I want to know its name. Sir, the adjutant said carefully, the men are on edge. Morale is unstable. They're questioning whether shields even work. Tyrex's voice dropped to a whisper. If one man with a bullet can break this force, then they deserve to be broken. Logan crouched in the crook of a twisted branch, 20 feet up, wrapped in shadow and mud. The scent of ozone drifted on the breeze. New turrets had been deployed. Automated, smart, fast. Didn't matter. They couldn't see what didn't move. Through his scope, he observed the sentry guns sweep. Smooth. Precise. But predictable. Every 12 seconds, a gap. Every 20, a pause for recalibration. He didn't need to fire. Not yet. Instead, he clicked on his mic, Echo 2. Confirm movement at Grid 7C. Copy that. Reinforcements setting up hard perimeter. Looks like they're prepping for entrenchment. Desperate move. That's good. A brief silence. Then Echo 2 added, Command wants to know your next objective. Logan smirked. Tell Command I'm going to kill their pride. The sentry turret rotated. A branch creaked. Logan held still. Another creak. Louder. He slowly turned his head. Above him, a scout drone hovered, tiny, silent. New model. Organic casing. It had bypassed his thermals. Too close. Too late. He lunged up, grabbing the drone with gloved hands and yanked it down. A short hiss, a pop, then silence. He crushed the small chassis between his palms and buried the remains under wet leaf. But they'd seen something. He moved instantly, dropping from the tree and sprinting low to the ground, weaving between roots and brush. Pulse rounds tore past him, shredding foliage. Voices behind him shouted in alien tongues. He zigzagged toward the creek bed, moved like water, slid into the mud and held his breath. Seconds passed. Then a full minute. Boots thudded past. Scanners pinged. One stopped. Blood? The soldier asked. No, just mud, came the reply. They kept moving. Logan emerged 10 minutes later, soaked and grinning. They were close now. He was becoming real to them. Commander Tyrex watched the footage. Static riddled. Grainy. One frame showed the silhouette of a human form mid-jump, rifle slung, mouth open as if shouting. The screen went black a second later. There, he said, pointing. Enhance. The tech frowned. We've done it 5 times already, sir. It's all artifact. No ID. Tyrex stared at the image again. That shadow. That calm posture. Like he knew he couldn't be touched. Who is he? He muttered. The adjutant stepped closer. Records from Earth suggest one possibility. Sergeant Logan Hale. Retired from active service after the Helix front. No implants. No augmentations. Pure analog. Tyrex blinked. He's not even enhanced? Not physically. Then how is he doing this? The adjutant hesitated. He's human, sir. Tyrex snarled. That doesn't answer the question. Logan reached the ridge by nightfall. The air was cooler here, thin mist rising from the crevices. He lay prone, overlooking the main Federation command site. Dome-shaped tents glowed faintly. Automated turrets lined the perimeter. 5 squads patrolled in synchronized paths. He studied their movements, clocked their rotations, counted heartbeats between turns. He marked his target. Tyrex. Not for vengeance. For message. The moment the Federation's highest field commander hit the dirt, panic would ripple through the ranks like a shockwave. He dialed in the shot. Wind steady. Distance. 684 meters. Target inside a transparent command dome, shielded, but the new ones flickered slightly during environmental regulation. Heat purge every 45 seconds. He waited. The shimmer came. A faint pulse as the dome exhaled. He fired. The bullet pierced the dome at its weakest point, timed with surgical precision. It tore through Tyrex's pauldron, missed the artery by millimeters, and embedded into the central console. Sparks flew. Blood spilled. Chaos erupted. Tyrex hit the floor, howling in rage. Medics swarmed. Guards fired into the trees. Drones took flight in all directions. But the shooter was already gone. Logan moved like a shadow between roots, heart calm. He hadn't aimed to kill. He'd aimed to humiliate. Tyrex sat in his cot, arm bandaged, silent. He ignored the pain. He stared at the dented console before him, the embedded bullet still smoking. The symbol etched into the casing of the round was unmistakable. An Earth skull. No message. No demand. Just a mark. Fog blanketed the jungle floor like a burial shroud. Pale and silent, it coiled between trees and drifted through shattered brush, thick enough to distort sound, dense enough to erase shapes. Logan moved through it like a ghost. No rifle. No scope. Just a suppressed sidearm, a blade, and a stolen data chip in his chest pocket. His mission was over. The shot to Tyrex hadn't just broken the chain of command, it had broken belief. Soldiers whispered in trembling voices. Eyes darted at nothing. Squads called in false alarms every hour. Command had grounded the patrols. Half the sentries stood down. The Federation wasn't regrouping. It was retreating. Logan crouched behind a fallen log and tapped his earpiece. Echo 2 package secured. On final approach. The reply crackled through light static. Copy. Bird inbound. ETA 5 minute. You've stirred a hornet's nest, Logan. Was the point, he muttered. How's command? Ecstatic. Your footage of the breach, the mark, everything, it's going straight to broadcast. The Council will have no choice but to rethink human capability. They should have done that the moment Earth lit up the stars. Commander Tyrex stood before his officers, his left arm in a sling, the bandage clean but his pride ragged. They're evacuating, his adjutant whispered, eyes wide. High Command gave the order 2 hours ago. And didn't even tell me? Tyrex hissed. No one's answering comms anymore. No one wants responsibility. Tyrex looked around the room. The command dome felt smaller now. No words were spoken. Even the lights seemed dimmer. He pressed a button on the console. A replay of the sniper shot appeared again, slowed, enhanced. The trajectory perfectly timed with the shield's thermal cycle. No warning. No error. Just precision. He clenched his fist. How does one man undo a battalion? The adjutant didn't answer. He didn't have to. The extraction zone lay ahead, marked by an old communication spike half swallowed by vines. Logan took cover in a crater near the ridge, watching the skies. His eyes flicked left, movement. Fast, too fast for animals. He unslung the sidearm. A shadow flickered through the mist. Then another. Not patrols. Hunters. They weren't retreating quietly. He clicked the mic. Echo 2, I've got tails. How many? 3 minimum. Elite suit. No comms chatter. Running black. Extraction birds rerouting. 40 seconds out. Logan grinned. That's all I need. Tyrex had ordered it personally. Not revenge. Closure. 3 of his finest, each equipped with adaptive armor and neural reflex boosters, had been sent to intercept the sniper's path. No artillery. No noise. Just one clean end. But Logan wasn't hunting anymore. He was drawing them in. The first hunter crept over the ridge, weapon raised. Infrared sweeping in waves. He saw nothing, just fog and stone. Then a hiss, barely audible. He turned. The blade sliced under the chin, into the neck. Silent. Clean. The body collapsed without a sound. Logan melted back into the mist. The second moved smarter, slower. He scanned the kill zone, saw the blood trail. He knelt, reading footprints, calculating angles. A whisper came from his left. Too slow. He spun. A bullet met his visor. Cracked the glass. He dropped backward with a grunt, rifle clattering into the mud. 2 down. 1 remained. The third wasn't like the others. She was careful, calm. Moved without sound, scanned without pattern. Logan respected her. He led her close in. 10 meters. Then 5. She lunged, but he didn't dodge. He pivoted, redirected her thrust, and brought his elbow into her helmet, denting the side. She struck back, hard, forcing him against the crater wall. They grappled in silence, brutal and fast. Blade against blade. Armor against instinct. She overextended. He capitalized. A twist. A pivot. Her head hit stone. Her body went limp. Logan exhaled, heartbeat steady. Echo 2, he whispered. Path is clear. The shuttle broke through the mist like a blade of light, anti-grav turbines humming low. It hovered over the ridge, ramp descending. Logan limped up the incline, one hand pressed to a shallow wound at his side. Inside, a tech waited with a sealed case. "Sir," she said, breathless. "That chip, does it contain the shield algorithms?" "Everything," Logan replied. "Pulses, sync times, structural gaps. Then they're blind." He gave her a tired nod. As the ramp sealed behind him, the jungle vanished beneath the haze. Back in the crumbling Federation base, Tyrex stood alone outside the dome. The wind was rising, the fog slowly thinning. He stared at the treetops. His voice was low. "You didn't kill me." No one answered. "I was the symbol. I know that now." Still nothing. "I underestimated you, human." He closed his eyes. "You didn't just shoot through my shield. You shot through the lie we built." 2 days later, across hundreds of systems, the footage dropped. News feeds lit up with the image of a human crouched in a jungle, scope glowing, a single bullet tearing through an alien commander's personal shield. No explosions. No battles. Just one man with patience, silence, and perfect aim. The message was simple. Primitive? No. Precise. In briefing rooms across the galaxy, alien strategists redrew entire doctrines. They removed the words inferior, archaic, and predictable from their intelligence files on humanity. No one laughed anymore. They studied, they prepared, and they feared. Because if one unaugmented human with a bolt-action rifle could dismantle a galactic force, what would happen when the rest of them came?